raw leather arrival at the factory.
Raw leather arrival at the factory. Leather tanning process begins. Leather tanning process begins. Leather cleaning and washing process. Leather cleaning and washing process, followed by softening and baiting. Leather softening and baiting process. Leather dyeing process.
Leather finishing process.
Upper leather cutting process.
Last upper leather cutting process.
Upper leather skiving process.
Last upper leather skeeving process.
Insole cutting process. Last insole cutting process.
Last insole cutting process. Upper leather edging process.
Last upper leather edging process.
Insole edging process. Last insole edging process.
Last insole edging process. Upper leather stitching process.
Last upper leather stitching process.
Insole stitching process.
Last insole stitching process.
Last insole stitching process. Upper leather filling and lining process.
Last upper leather filling and lining process. Insole filling and lining process. Last insole filling and lining process. Last insole filling and lining process. Upper leather finishing process. This is the final upper leather finishing process, ensuring the material is ready for the next stage of production. Last upper leather finishing process. Insole finishing process.
Insole finishing process. Last insole finishing process.
Last insole finishing process. Upper leather packaging process.
Upper leather packaging process. Last upper leather packaging process.
Last upper leather packaging process. Insole packaging process.
Last insole packaging process. Upper leather quality control process. Last upper leather quality control process.
Insole quality control process.
Last insole quality control process.
Upper leather final inspection process.
Last upper leather final inspection process.
Insole final inspection process.
Insole final inspection process. Last insole final inspection process.
Last insole final inspection process. Upper leather packaging to shipping process.
Last upper leather packaging to shipping process.
Insole packaging to shipping process. Last insole packaging to shipping process.
Last upper leather final quality check process.
Insole final quality check process.
Last insole final quality check process.
Upper leather finished product showcase.
Last upper leather finished product showcase. Insole finished product showcase. Last insole finished product showcase.
Upper leather quality control report.
Last upper leather quality control report.
Insole quality control report. Last insole quality control report.
Last insole quality control report. Upper leather finished product storage. Upper leather finished product storage. Last upper leather finished product storage. Insole finished product storage. Insole finished product storage. Last insole finished product storage. Last insole finished product storage. Upper leather final production report.
Last upper leather final production report.
Insole final production report. Last insole final production report.
Upper leather production line inspection.
Insole production line inspection. Last insole packaging to shipping from warehouse. Upper leather quality control report from warehouse.
Last upper leather quality control report from warehouse. Insole quality control report from warehouse.
Last insole quality control report from warehouse.
Upper leather final production report from warehouse. Last upper leather final production report from warehouse.
Insole final production report from warehouse.
Insole final production report from warehouse.
Upper leather production line cleaning.
Last upper leather production line cleaning.
Insole production line cleaning. Last insole production line cleaning.
Upper leather production line maintenance.
Insole production line maintenance. Last insole production line maintenance.
Last insole production line maintenance. Upper leather production line testing.
Last upper leather production line testing.
Insole production line testing.
Insole production line testing. Last insole production line testing.
Insole production line optimization.
Last insole production line optimization.
Last insole production line optimization. Upper leather production line validation.
Last upper leather production line validation.
Insole production line validation.
Last insole production line validation. Last insole production line validation. Upper leather production line calibration.
Upper leather production line calibration. Last upper leather production line calibration.
Insole production line calibration.
Last insole production line calibration.
Insole production line certification.
Last insole production line certification.
Final cinematic showcase.